Comfortably numb is the slowest death sentence that you could suffer. We've spoken about many different variations of this, and yet it seems to be the one that most people suffer from. This comfortably numb to the life that you are currently leading. You don't like it. You don't like where you are. You don't like the man in the mirror. You don't like your body, your health, your wealth, your relationships. You don't like most of it. Or maybe it's not that dire. Maybe it's just, it's not great. It could be worse. But it's like the frog in boiling water. If you dump him in straight away, he'll jump out instantly. But if you slowly, ever so slowly turn up the heat, he'll stay in there until he boils to death. And that's what most people are doing. They're just slowly boiling to death in the comfortably numbness of the life choices that they're making over and over and over again. Because nothing's that bad. Nothing's so awful that you're willing to actually change. But it's not great either. But it gets infinitesimally smaller doses of worse. Just bit by bit by bit, it gets worse and it gets worse and it gets worse. And that's how you wake up one day and you're like, fuck me. I'm 30 kilos overweight. I hate the man in the mirror. I hate who I've become. I hate how I've let everyone down. And it's because you don't face it when it's a small issue. You accept it and go, it's not that bad. This is how all things happen. They slowly encroach on your life and your freedoms and the choices that you make. But because it doesn't happen suddenly, you don't realize how bad things have gotten. They use it in manipulation. It's the same thing. You slowly manipulate people into these situations by bit by bit by bit. And when they push back, you just take a step back. And then you do it slowly, until suddenly you've pushed them so far. And then the worst part of it all is that you've done this to yourself. Hell, I did it to myself too. As I've said, I was the height of hypocrisy. I was a transformation expert, a personal trainer who was fat as fuck. And it was do as I say, not as I do. But it started with that small, little, innocent thing, which is why I talk about this so much. And people want to push back and they want to defend their mediocrity and then defend their comfortability and all the problems. But you fucking know. You know that it's not acceptable. But we start with those little moments. It's just one pizza or one night out or one drink or one missed workout or one whatever. And then it's 1 week and then it's 1 month and then it's holy fuck. Who is that man in the mirror? And it's the slipperiest of slopes. And it's why sometimes a worse situation is actually a better situation. Because it's more likely to galvanize you into change. It's more likely to galvanize you into actually doing something about it. It's like the region beta paradox. So if it's less than a mile, most people will walk it. Not always, but in this example, they'd walk a mile. But if it's 2 miles, that's too far and they'll drive. But you'll travel 2 miles much faster than you would travel the 1 mile. But because it's too far, it's now too uncomfortable. Now it'll galvanize you into change. And it's the same concept of when life isn't great, but it's not terrible. When it's not fucking awful, it's not melting down and you're going to die suddenly. Well, people will find justifications. And people justify their mediocrity and their comfortability over and over and over again. So much so that you never break free. You never actually get to a point of change. And I see it even with people who do make changes. Because it finally reaches a point where the pain is so high, where the discomfort and the unhappiness with your life is so great that you're like, I am going to do something about this. I am going to fucking change. And they do. And they do the work and they push themselves out of the pain. But here comes the problem. They reach a point where they're not in pain anymore. Where you haven't changed who you are as a person, but you look at it and go, well, the pain that I'm suffering through to do the work, because you always look at it as a sacrifice and the suffering and this kind of stuff, which is a different psychology again, is now greater than the pain that I was in or I am in now. So it's like losing weight. When you can't fit into any clothes and you hate who you are, you hate the man in the mirror, you hate that everything hurts and you can't, see your dick and you can't play with your children and you're worried that if you try and run a little bit, you'll have a fucking heart attack. And you lose a bit of weight, you lose 10, 15 kilos and you start to feel a little bit better about yourself. Suddenly clothes fit a little bit better. You're still not happy, you're still not actually in great shape, you're not even remotely close to where you want to be, but those pain points have shifted. And so you start to convince yourself that, hey, maybe this is good enough. As I've said to you before, more dreams, more goals, more great lives and potential has been lost with the statement of good enough than anything else. Never do we say good enough. Because that is the death. It's you know that you didn't reach what you set out to do. You know that you didn't push and sacrifice and reach the goal that actually matters to you. You reached a point where you decided comfortability was enough again. And so you say, good enough. Fuck your good enough. Fuck that point. Fuck settling for it. Stop being comfortably numb and get uncomfortable. Realize that this isn't the life that you want, nor the life that you were meant for. Realize that you were meant to do more with this life. But people want to justify their mediocrity. And you'll find that when you reach up and when you start pushing and when you try and change and push for something greater, those around you will be like crabs in a bucket and they will pull you back down because your decision to change makes them uncomfortable. It does. I've discussed it before, and it's one of my key points is that you cannot be the best father you can possibly be unless you're in great fucking shape. And every single time people come out of the woodwork and they want to be little bitches about it and they want to bitch at me about how, oh, what a disgusting thing to say, what a terrible fucking mindset, you're going to fuck up your children. Compared to fucking up your children who are obese, who are addicted to screens, who are sugar addicts before they're even 10 years old? No, this is called being healthy. It's called being a responsible fucking adult. Yeah, you should be in great shape. Yeah, your children should watch you work hard and sacrifice and do things that are difficult and prevail. That should just be part of your DNA as a man. But you want to defend your comfortably numb life that you know that you aren't happy with. And I had this discussion with someone the other day where I was like, everybody wants to be in better shape. Everybody does. Fuck, I want to be. I still want to be in better shape than I'm currently in. Everybody wants to get into better shape. Everyone wants to be stronger, fitter, healthier. They want to be richer. They want to have a better life. They want all these things. And when people are like, no, I don't, you're lying. You're fucking lying to yourself. The true statement is, and this in some circumstances I will accept, is you're not willing to pay the price to get it. That is a very, very different argument. That's at least an honest statement. But it's like all of those things. I saw this great one the other day when we were talking about, the comfortably numb people and the body positivity movement and all this kind of stuff. That everyone's like, you should be proud of who you are, and it's okay to be big and beautiful, and big is healthy and all this kind of stuff, and we shouldn't worry about being in great shape. The fuck you should. big on any level, even extreme levels in bodybuilding, extra size is detrimental to the body. A serious surplus of weight is detrimental to the body. It places more stress on the heart, on the organs, on the joints, all this kind of stuff. Whether that is body fat or extreme levels of muscle. And yes, it is extreme levels of muscle, not, just being a muscular person. Those are stresses to the body. But if that was true, if the body positivity movement actually believed their own BS, well, when things like Ozempic came out, which, don't get me started, is a fucking terrible, terrible idea, but that's a different conversation altogether. When that came out, they should have shamed it. They should have been like, this is disgusting. No, you're beautiful the way you are. We shouldn't do this. No, they all fucking jumped on the bandwagon. Everyone was like, this is great. So it's not about being body positive. It's about that you don't want to fucking admit that you don't have the discipline, you don't have the dedication, you don't have the mental fortitude to do the work. You make weak decisions. You choose comfort over what is required. You are comfortably numb to where you are, and you just keep making the same decisions over and over and over again. This is the problem. This is the gap. And this is where you are going to fall down. And this is where you're going to run into issues. And this is why you need to recognize that you aren't happy with where you are. And it won't be until you actually step out and make a change in your life that you'll realize how bad that situation was. Because you're too close to it. You're comfortably numb in it. You've numbed yourself to how much you don't like this situation. Go away and take a proper look at your life. Properly analyze where you are. Look at the man in the mirror and realize that that is not the man that you want to be or should be. Realize that you deserve better. Your family deserves better. The people who love and adore you deserve better. And it's time to start making some uncomfortable decisions to become the man that they deserve. So if you are ready for that, as always, I have the answer. I have a blueprint, and I will hold your feet to the fire and make sure you fucking do everything that is necessary. So if you're ready to join Demanding Greatness, comment Demanding Greatness underneath, or click the link in my bio, and together, let's change your life. But only if you're actually ready to admit where you are, to stop being comfortably numb, and step up and do what is required. Cannot wait to see you there.